kidnapping-related incidents total 63 cases. The alleged kidnapping syndicate preyed on Chinese businessmen who are engaged in online gambling. You know, your figure of 11 cases seem to be a suppressed or seems to be an inaccurate, at the very least, information.
Mr. Yes, Your Honor, these are POGO-related kidnapping cases and not yet casino-related kidnapping cases. And these are records only for 2019, 2020, and probably that figure coincide with the record of the PNP if we were going to include earlier years as well as casino-related.
You are talking, okay, from, you confirm this, 2017 to 2019, casino kidnapping-related incidents totaled 63 cases.
I don't have the record with me here, sir, but with the increasing number of the reported cases, that could be correct, sir.
And, but you're saying that out of this figure, in 2019, there were 9 POGO-related kidnappings.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Victimizing 13 individuals. Yes, sir.
And
For
in,
2019,
and in the first 2 months of 2020, there were 2.
2 cases, POGO cases.
And you have no record of what it was in 2018.
In my reference, I don't have, but for sure the PNP has a record, sir.
I'm sorry?
In my reference material, I don't have records
For
for
2018.
2018 and earlier.
Okay, your staff at the back is showing you some data?
Yes. So we will just provide you, sir, for the records earlier than 2019.
What is established at this point on the basis of the reports is that there are 63 casino kidnapping-related incidents from 2017 to 2019, which victimized Chinese businessmen engaged in online gaming. And from your records, you're saying, sir, that from your own reports, there were at least 9 in 2019 and 2 in 2020 kidnappings involved in gaming.
I would just like to clarify, Your Honor, that these are POGO-related, not casino-related.
These are-
So I believe that based on our experience, that figure could be correct, sir. But since I don't have the exact
Which
number,
figure could be corrected?
the one you have, the one you have said according to the 63 cases that.
Well, anyway, I'm citing government figures.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Anyway, okay, other than kidnapping, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO-related homicides or killings?
So right now, I don't have the record, but we can provide, Your Honor, your office about this figure. For sure, there are, based on our recollection, there are some other crimes committed related to casino and POGO kidnapping cases.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes,
get
sir.
that.
Sir,
First, I'm just asking, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO operations related? Ay, we read in the papers, may binabaril ng mga
Yes, sir.
people relate or known to be casino people or POGO people. I'm just asking you on the basis of the police records, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO related?
I don't have that number on my reference material, Your Honor, but we will provide you, sir.
Off the top of your head, without binding you, just give us a rough idea. On the basis of what, you know, you have more access to information than we have. Without binding you to that number, can you give us an idea of what we're talking about in terms of homicide or murder cases related, which are suspected? I'm not saying they are.
Yes, sir. So, well, I cannot say for certainty, but uh, for
Well,
sure, there were
Yes,
cases.
I know. There, how many? 10, 20, 1, 2, 3? Just on the basis of your information. And I said we'll not bind you to this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mm.
So our directorate will just check a little bit later for the on our record, but I can assume that it is probably on the range of 10 cases or 10 incidents.
10 cases
10
last,
incidents, but
okay, 10, last year,
since
2019.
not last year, but probably for the past 3 years, Your Honor.
Okay, you can get a more
Accurate numbers.
accurate number, and
Yes,
if
sir.
you can text right now your people so
Yes,
that
sir.
we will know. Now, how many prostitution dens were raided and was suspected to be casino or pogo related?
Yes, sir. The PNP had already launched 10 police operations against prostitution dens involving foreign nationals, which resulted in the arrest of 60 suspects, 59 of whom are Chinese citizens, while one was a Saudi national. These operations brought a total of 199 rescued victims. Of the 199 victims, 173 were Chinese citizens, one of whom was identified as a minor. Other victims include 13 Vietnamese, 2 Russians, 2 Mongolians, 1 Japanese, and 8 Filipinos.
Does this number alarm you, sir?
Well, definitely, sir. Since we don't have this kind of operations 3 years before, but on the past 3 years or 2 years, personally being the regional director of NCRPO, I personally supervised the operation or raid of establishments involving this kind of illegal activity.
From your statement, it would appear that you are convinced that it is because of the presence of the pogo in the country for the last 3 years that there was an increase in prostitution dens. Is that correct?
Yeah, based on the operations,
Yes.
because, yes, sir.
Yes, based on the operations.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
So what benefit are we talking about, Mr. Pagcor? You hear this kind of testimony about prostitution dens increasing for the last 3 years because of pogo operations, and then you have kidnappings, and then you have murders, and we say that there are 63 kidnappings related to casino and pogo, and yet you say we should maintain this because of the 8 billion pesos that we earn out of service fees for Pagcor. Really, I know I don't want to describe it any further because I might utter words which may not be very appropriate, but certainly disgusting is a very mild term to describe your assessment of the pogo operations. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Duran. I just have a few questions. On FATF, Central Bank,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
if this is made known to the whole world, and as I'm sure it's going to be covered, that there is so much money coming to the Philippines that is unchecked, would you agree with me that right now it's unchecked?
Currently, there's...
Oh, pumasok na eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And there is this Senate investigation going on, right? What would be the impact of that on the FATF?
Actually, Mr. Chair,
Di ba nasasabihin na
there's a recommendation from FATF. I think if I recall it correctly, it's
can you speak a
FATF.
little louder, please? I can't hear.
FATF recommendation 32, Mr. Chair. If I recall it correctly, and there's a requirement that there should really be a mechanism or a framework to evaluate cross-border transfers of foreign currency. And so if the Philippines will not be able to really clearly demonstrate that, then of course it would have an impact on international.
So, I want to be very clear. Tatagalugin ko, magkakaroon ng malaking balakid. Balakid ba? Masamang epekto. Yung bang balakid, di ba yung si Presidente yun? Tatuan mo ko, ha? May masamang epekto sa buong mundo, lalo na dun sa mga so-called guardians itong natawag doon sa France, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
At ano maaaring mangyari? Baka sabihin lang, hindi kayo nag-iingat. So, lahat ng pera, lahat ng bank transactions nyo, magkakaroon ng question. Tama po ba yan?
Parang magkakaroon po ng ganun, Mr. Chair, kung hindi natin mapakita na tayo po talaga ay sumusunod po doon sa FATF recommendation.
Paano ngayon yung mga OFWs?
Apektado again
Paano sila maapektuhan?
posible po na yung mag-de-risking, meaning de-risking po ang term sa financial term po noon. Ibig sabihin po yung mga remittance companies and even po transactions sa mga bangko sa pagpapadala ng mga remittances papunta sa Pilipinas, pwede pong yung mga iba na po doon hindi na papayagan.
Hindi papayag sila magdala ng pera ng mga OFWs.
Opo.
O di kaya naman tataasan ang rate.
Tataasan po. Pwede din po na papayagan
diba?
pero tataas yung
Sa
rate.
madaling sabi,
May epekto po talaga.
talaga may epekto.
Opo.
Kaya kailangan may gawin tayo rito. Oo.
Opo.
Dapat tumitigil kayo.
Opo. Meron po talagang
Hindi naman kami
kailangan gawin
nag-iimbestiga
po.
rito para masaya kami. No? Talaga may epekto ito dahil ang lalaki ng amounts kahit na ano sabihin nyo, $633 million is not loose change. At kung walang nangyayari sa mga pulis natin, yung mga pumupulis, hindi pulis ni General Elizar, yung pulis ng AMLA, yan sa customs, wala nangyayari, maaari tayong pag-usapan at sabihin, mukhang very loose ang patakaran dyan sa Pilipinas. Dapat siguro, palalahan natin yan, kaya ayan na tayo yan, pag pinalalahanan tayo yan, at medyo, bali wala may iba sa hiya, wala nang hiya, pero kawawa ang mga tao natin na umaasa magpapadala ng pera. So, malaking impact, ano?
Talaga pong may impact,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Now that we know that, hindi po ba itong mga pogo na ito bawal sa China yan? Walang gambling sa China, di ba?
Gaming operations.
Bawal yan,
Yes,
di ba? Pero lang sa Macau.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pati online, bawal.
I believe so, Your Honor.
So mga katuwid, itong mga tao naglalaro ng pogo dito, criminal yan.
Your Honor, there's no...
Yes or no?
Wala pong naglalaro dito sa Philippines ng...
No, pero yung mga support.
Yes, Your Honor. If it's in fact sa China, Your Honor, yes.
Kaya nga sinasabi ng China, yun, bumalik na kayo, papatawarin ko kayo. Pero pag hindi kayo bumalik, pagbalik nyo, kakasuhan namin kayo.
Yes, Your Honor. Illegal sa China, Your Honor.
Sa madaling sabi, tayo tumutulong sa pagtakas sa mga kriminal sa China. Yes or no?
Sir, if players talaga nila is
It
from
appears
China,
so.
yes, sir.
It appears so.
Bawal yun, sir.
Are those the words you're using? I don't want to use my words. It appears so to you?
If the players are from China,
Yeah.
Sir, bawal
So,
yun,
ibig
sir.
sabihin, with more reason, we should really pay attention to what these people are doing. Di ba? Now, of course, we're a sovereign country. If we want to have pogo, that's our problem. But kaya tulad na sinasabi ni Senator Dillon, at ako rin nakikita ko, andito rin yung mga tinatawag nating mga neighborhood na apektado. Nagpunta sila rito, and I would like to call them here. Di ba may tumalon na babae at lalaki, sabi niyo, doon sa bahay na nag-raid doon sa inyong lugar, sa subdivision? Doon kayo sa microphone at sabihin niyo ang pangalan niyo. At taas niyo ang kanang kamay. At hold up, di pala, ako kayo. Pakitayo ho. Siya ho ba ang spokesman niyo?
You swear refer to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding.
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name.
Carmelo Marquez po.
Colonel
Carmelo Marquez po.
Marquez. Doktor,
Hindi po. Si,
yung katabi niyo. Kasama ho ba kayo? Sige ho.
Yes, Your Honor.
Dr. Sonia Lopez.
That's right, Your Honor.
Can you raise your hand, ma'am?
You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, ma'am. Could you describe to us, kasi nakita namin yung TV. Ano ang pakiramdam nyo? Sa nangyari niya sa dami, marami ho bang pogo sa inyo?
Marami ho.
Paano nyo lamang Pogo yan? Maraming Chinese.
Yeah, but we are presuming that they are. That's
Aha,
what we heard.
okay. Let's
Although-
presume that they are. Biglang dumami.
Oho, but not really bigla. But yes, within the...
Hindi bigla,
past
unti-unti
2 years.
dumami. So, ilan ho ang bases na nagdadala niyan?
Batches.
Ilang bases na nandun sa
Bases. Oh, we have about 500.
500 bases.
Yes, going into the...
Pumapasok sa
in
inyong
and out of the
subdivision.
subdivision.
All right? And obviously, may bayad dyan. May kumikita. Nagpaparenta ng bus.
Presumably also, yes.
Magkano kaya ang renta ng baso?
From what we heard, I think some of them are being rented about 75,000
75,000 a month.
a month.
But that's not your personal knowledge. This is just hearsay.
Yes, that's
Ah.
right.
So, ibig sabihin, there is an industry that has come in, invaded your neighborhood. How do you feel? Nagagalit ba kayo sa China, Chinese, or does it make you harbor negative feelings about the China? I have no negative feelings about the
No.
Chinese. I don't like some of the policies of their government. I don't hate them. But do you feel some negative feelings?
I think naturally, yes, but not personally in the sense that we don't take this against the Chinese per se.
Because obviously, iba yung lingwahe nila. And they don't talk to you. They just mind their own business, pasok labas.
That's right. But it is the circumstances and the persons who are responsible for bringing them in who we are more or less angry at.
Ano po nakikita niyo doon? Nakita ko doon sa bus, may bumaba mga babae. Nakatira ba rin ho doon sa bahay na malaki yun?
A 15-year-old girl saw that. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Ano po yan?
Huh?
Ano nangyari noong 3 o'clock in the morning?
Basta nakita ho nila na tumalon yung...
Yung tumaroon ng babae.
At saka lalaki ho ata na naked from one of the buildings and then tumalon ho sila doon sa kabilang roof.
Naked.
Also, yes.
So, really, doon ba sa ibang kapitbahay nyo, meron pa mga ganyang ini-invade or pinapasok or nakikitira or whatever you want to call it?
We suspect so. We have about...
Sa Paranaque ba kayo?
yes po. Yes, Your Honor.
Meron bang barangay sa Paranaque yun na naokupahan ng ganyan?
I think so ho. Hindi lang ho sa amin, although we have more of them in our subdivision than in others.
Yung firing range yun, narinig yung pumuputok.
Right now, it is not yet, it's not yet really working because we were able to stop this. at,
So you have to
yeah.
you have to get the lawyer to stop it.
Yeah, we had to stop it because we are against it. I mean, can you imagine a firing range in a
Nakita ko may mga advertising na, hindi ba?
Yes,
Learn how
yes.
to shoot
Yes,
properly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pero English hindi naman Chinese ang nakalagay doon.
Yes, in English. Opo.
Wala nang kapatulo sa inyo ng English. Babayaran kayo. Ano ba yung tutor to speak English?
No, nor Your
Wala
Honor.
naman nagpapatulo sa inyo ng Chinese.
Wala din.
I'm serious.
No, Your Honor.
Because kung magpo-pogo kayo, ang pagkaalam ko dyan sa pogo, pinapayagan yan. Pero dapat matuto tayo para ang pakinabang nasa atin, Chinese. Marunong mag-Chinese yung Pilipino, magagamit pa natin for international purposes, pwede magtrabaho sa embassy. Ako, I advocate learning Chinese language. Meron ba kayo ginagawa sa PAGCOR dyan para maging katanggap-tanggap naman sa iba para imbis na Chinese ang nagtatrabaho dito? Ang makikinabang ng malalaking sweldo, magkano ba sweldo ng isang pogo?
I think around 40 to 50,000, Your Honor.
40 to 50,000. Ano yan? Ordinary.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the average age of pogo?
21 years old, Your Honor.
Soldier age.
Huh?
Soldier
Yes, sir.
age.
Yes, sir.
That's your conclusion, not mine, ha?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sakay ka na sakay. In other words, pakita mo, parang mga well-built, fit. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tatanong ko yan because ang daming mga paputok katulad ng PLA, nagdududa ako na imposibleng hindi gagamitin yan. Alam mo kung bakit ang PLA? Pwede bang, General, kayo nasa Army, para matanong ko kayo, kung kayo ang PLA at maraming Chinese dito, sigurado gagamitin niya iba dyan for intelligence purposes.
That is possible, Your Honor, sir.
That is,
That is possible, Your Honor.
no, of course that's possible. You are general, would you do it? Huwag ka na mahiya. We will not
Yes,
do it.
sir.
You would. I'm not forcing you to answer. But, I would do it if I were there because bawal na sa China. Gusto ko malaman kung sino itong mga ito. So, magre-report ako. Itong mga ito, nagsusugal dito para magbalik. Criminal kayo dyan eh. Huhulihin kayo. That's one. Or, pwede sila magpunta rito at sige, kaibiganin nyo yung mga sundalo dyan, yung mga pulis dyan, para malaman nyo, even if it's illegal, to send spies to their own country. It's even biblical. Moses sent, sino yan? To spy in the land of Canaan, di ba? Joshua.
Yes, sir. It happens, Your Honor,
Di
sir.
ba may pangalan dyan? Joshua Rodriguez? Oh, meron, di ba? Yung nagpapasok na maraming pera. Di ba?
Yes, sir.
So natural, well within our interest na alamin natin. Katulad ako, pupunta ako sa Russia, nakita ko ang daming submarine noong araw, kuwan pa yan eh. Titignan ko, binibilang ko. Titignan ko ang capacity nila, capability nila, at para sa ganoon, alam ko kung anong, hindi lang yung intent kung anong capacity nila. Di ba? Pag bumaba ako doon sa Cambodia, nakikita ko may mga jet sila doon, minimemorya ko. Ngayon, kung tatarangin ako ng army, ano nakita mo doon? Sasabihin ko. Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, sir.
Because that is part of our duty as a military or for that matter, any citizen na malaman nyo kung anong kakayahan because yan ang hahagip sa inyo. Now, sa inyo ho, meron bang nag-organize sa inyo na ganyan, ng mga tao na other commercial activities na ginagawa nila or business activities?
Not that we know of po, but
Meron ba silang cocktail lounge doon sa taas?
may mga restaurants po sila.
Kanina pa tinatanong ni Senator Julian yan, meron ba mga nightclub, prostitution?
We cannot confirm. We have doubts, but
Ano nakikita nyo ginagawa nila sa subdivision ninyo?
there are a few restaurants po in existence.
Meron ba mga kwarto-kwarto na ang bayad doon sa kwarto ay 50,000?
We cannot confirm po.
Meron ba, Frank? Ayun. Sige, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to go back to Executive Director Racela, if you please. Mention have been made here of the fact that while there are 240 licensed POGO operators, another half probably are unlicensed and they are operating out of subdivisions. But certainly they do internet gaming now. Also, mention is made of the fact that there is so much, or roughly 14 billion in remittances or in transactions could be related to illegal. They're not like illegal transactions. Now, you have mentioned in your report, Mr. Racela, that, and let me read it, violations or non-compliance with the Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended, and other issuances of the Anti-Money Laundering Council should warrant the cancellation of licenses or certificates of authority or accreditation to cease operations of these internet-based casinos. Now, first question, would these internet operators have compliance officers as you have in the banks? Obviously none.
They are required to comply with the casino implementing rules and regulations, and we are at the early stage of implementing it, Mr. Chair.
Mention have on record also are the number of illegal activities, kidnappings, killings, prostitution dens that, as per testimony of our police officers, saw an increase in the last 3 years when the POGOs came into the picture. Okay, I'll ask you a question and please answer it on the basis of only from your limited function as Executive Director of Anti-Money Laundering Council. If you had your way, from the point of view of the anti-money laundering law, would you want these internet gaming operations and these POGOs to continue operating in the country?
Mr. Chair, that goes beyond my salary grade.
Oh, that's why I said only, I know that that's beyond your authority. Yes, we admit that. But that's why I limited my question to a situation where if you had your way, and only from the point of view of the Anti-Money Laundering Act enforcement. Because you seem to have a lot of problems enforcing this AMLA law insofar as this casino or these internet gaming operators are concerned. First, do you admit that it is extremely difficult to monitor the activities of the POGO operators from the point of view of the Anti-Money Laundering Council?
Comparing it with other covered persons, Mr. Chair, it will be a very challenging job on the part of the MLC and the
I like the word very challenging. That's usually the diplomatic way of saying, mahirap po. Hindi po ba? Mahirap i-supervise ang mga ito. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Kaya nga, uulitin ko yung tanong ko. Just from the, I'm not talking about social cost, etc. From the point of view of monitoring the operations of the POGO, from the point of view of compliance with the Anti-Money Laundering Act, would you say that it is that the country would be better situated if these POGO operations are stopped so that the use of our financial system for these illicit activities are stopped? And I said, you're not talking for the government. You're talking as Executive Director of AMLC and only from the point of view of compliance with the AMLA.
If I am the decision maker, Mr. Chair, I will consider several factors, and that would include, as mentioned by the Senate Minority Leader, compliance with the AMLA. But I would likewise consider the revenues being generated by the operations of POGOs. And there is where you need to strike the balance, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I can see that you're very careful. Baka matanggal ka sa trabaho mo pag mali yung sagot mo. But anyway, now, I'll go back to PAGCOR. Is it true that the overseas gaming operation was stopped in Cambodia?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was stopped in Cambodia. And it was stopped because of the protest of the Chinese government because online gaming, or gaming for that matter, is illegal in China.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, all right. So how did we end up hosting all of these people when it was stopped in Cambodia?
Your Honor, because the operators here does not really, it caters to other continents also. It caters to other countries also, Your Honor.
So does here. We cater to Vietnamese bettors, don't we? We cater to Singaporean bettors, don't we? We cater to Chinese and Hong Kong bettors, right? Even American Chinese bettors,
Yes,
correct?
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So what is the difference? What are you trying to tell the senator? They're the same.
I guess it's the prerogative of the country to close down their POGO operations, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, but just answer the question. If they were, as you have admitted, stuck in Cambodia because the fact is these were Chinese run and Chinese operators and gamblers. They were stopped upon the request of China because they're illegal in China.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the question is, why did we accept all of them? Why did we allow them here when it was, in fact, stopped in Cambodia and because it was illegal in China?
Yes, Your Honor, precisely because it's not, for example, we have in our regulatory manual that we cannot stream in countries where online gaming is illegal. So if in
Is
fact
it
that,
online gaming illegal in the People's Republic of
I
China?
believe so, Your Honor. I
It
think
is
so.
illegal.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so why do we authorize it here?
Because not all players are coming from China, Your Honor. So, for example, if it is reported to us that a player is coming China and China says that we should close down, we will close down the company. If it's there are reports.
Why? Are we a province of China? That when
No, Your
China
Honor.
says, pwede, pwede. Kung walang sinasabing bawal, pwede.
Yes, sir.
Ganun ba yun?
No, Your Honor.
Ay, hindi naman. So, why do you have to wait for the advice of China? Why can we not do it on our own?
Is that what your superior told you? You're waiting for the advice of Xi Jinping?
No, Your Honor.
Ano pala?
No, Your Honor.
Who told you that?
No, Your Honor, because precisely, Your Honor, it is our prerogative to do operations here.
Yeah.
So it would be the prerogative
No.
of the.
No.
The question is legitimate. They banned it there. Why are we not banning it here?
Because there are not yet reports that, in fact, we are catering to the whole China market, Your Honor. That we are catering to the market, which is illegal for them to play online gaming, Your Honor.
So you are catering to that.
No, Your Honor, it's actually in our regulatory manual that you cannot cater players that is illegal for
So
online
what
gaming.
are we, you mean to say, all of, this is similar to what they banned in Cambodia?
Yeah.
And
Sihanouk
they
Bay.
came here. And the ban in Cambodia, from the available information, is that because the Chinese government objected to it. And yet we are here, we are acting like a province of China, supposedly. So dapat naman, kung bawal sa China, di bawal rin dito. Now, all right. Also, having said that, nakalimutan ko na tuloy ang itatanong ko.
I understand.
Other than the Philippines, are there online gaming operations elsewhere?
May I answer the question?
Yes.
Around the world, Your Honor, there are several hubs of online gaming operations. In Europe, the hub is Malta and...
Let's not go to Europe.
Yes, sir.
Taga rito tayo eh.
Yes, sir.
At ang pogo natin dito, puro Chinese ang ating clientele
Yes, sir.
now. And we are just it would appear that in Cambodia they closed this kind of operations because the Chinese government protested that their citizens are engaged in an activity, online gaming, which is illegal in China, but is not is allowed in Cambodia. That is why they have stopped it. Is that correct?
Your Honor, that was a policy decision of the Cambodian government. In our case, Your Honor, I saw the letter or the declaration of the Chinese embassy, and it primarily refers to illegal activities related to online gambling, not necessarily online gambling. That was the wording of the declaration of the Chinese embassy, Your Honor.
Okay. But let me read to you the English translation of a notice from Yantai City, Shandong Province.
Kixi.
Huh? Ano?
Kixi? Q-I-X-I?
QIXAI,
Yeah.
police office in Yantai
Yeah.
City, Shandong Province of China. It reads, among others,
All those involved.
those who participated in overseas telecommunication scams, and Pogo gambling are given until February 8 to come back, or their passports will be cancelled. They are referring, remember, this is
And
from
bank account,
China,
let's be
and
complete.
they talk about Pogo gamblers,
Yeah.
so, gambling. Pogo stands for Philippine Overseas Gaming Operations. So apparently there is already a warning from China that these are illegal operations. And number two, our ambassador, Philippine ambassador to China,
Chito Santa Romana.
Mr. Santa Romana, Ambassador Santa Romana, said this is coming. Maybe not immediately, but gradually this will be implemented. So this indicates the policy of China.
Your Honor, please, we have not received that notice formally, and I would like to
Yes,
verify.
it is not addressed to you. It is a notice of the police to their own citizens.
In a province, Your Honor,
Yes.
but not necessarily the Chinese government itself, Your Honor.
Okay. The way you sound, you really want the Pogo to be here.
Firing, Your Honor, I was asking if we received already a copy of the notice, or
Maybe you might be better off answering the senator, and I'll help you. Just this one. They have Pogo in UK, right?
yes, Your Honor.
Online gaming.
Yes,
They have
Your
Pogo in Ireland. Where
They
else
have,
do they have Pogo?
Europe, Your Honor.
Where in Europe?
The Pogo operations, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Europe is an
Sakay
internal.
ka ng sakay. Meron tayong Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations doon. Pogo, ang tawag nila doon.
It's online gaming, Your Honor, but we don't
Hindi
have.
Pogo.
I think we have a license.
Hindi
We don't
Pogo, Ogo.
Well, they have online operations.
have, Your Honor.
I do not question that. But Pogo specifically stands for Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that is the subject of the notice issued by the police office in Yantai City.
Yeah.
Pogo is mentioned specifically, and that could not pertain to the overseas, gaming of offshore gaming operations in Europe,
In UK.
because
Yes, Your Honor.
so I'm just focusing. I was telling you that Pogo gamblers are specified, not only those who are engaged in illegal activities. This notice, and I can tell you this exists, because this was verified also by media, and it exists.
Yes, Your Honor.
So given this, we are still insisting that Pogo should remain in our midst, given all of this information that we have. Why are we so in love with Pogo?
Again, Your Honor, that would be a policy decision either of the entire government,
exactly
Your
what
Honor.
Senator De La
Exactly,
said
that's what I'm
already.
saying. It's a policy issue, and I've told this, I have confided this to our chairman. It is a policy issue, and to us, the policy should be to terminate these Pogo operations because of all these nefarious activities that we hear. And as again, I repeat, I am so disappointed that for 8 billion pesos in fees that PAGCOR receives from these Pogo operators, we're saying we should maintain them because of the income that we earn.
And speaking about that, Mr. Senator, let me just ask the BIR. Magkano ba ang tax talaga ng Pogo? 5% or 2%?
Sir, Your Honor, on the licensee is the franchise tax of 5% in lieu of all taxes.
5%.
Yes, sir.
And that was what you imposed originally.
Your Honor,
You imposed that originally.
actually, the problem of the BIR
No,
is...
no, no. Answer my question first.
Yes, we imposed that.
You imposed that.
Yes,
But
sir.
you were overruled.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, bakit biglang bumama yung boses mo? Ah?
Sir, isa lang ho ang
In
nagbabayad.
other words, 5% ang in-impose nyo, tapos sinabihan kayo ng OSG na gawing 2%. Is that correct?
I think ginawang...
Hindi. Yung 2%.
Sir, the 2% is the gaming regulatory fees of PAGCOR.
O, saan napunta yung 5% kung ganun?
Sir, the 5% is that actually we are assessing the licensee of 5%, but their contention is that we will not pay that because we are offshore, we are outside the Philippine jurisdiction. But the contention of the BIR is that since you have registered with PAGCOR, then you are under Philippine law.
Correct.
So yun po.
I agree.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why don't you impose the 5%?
Actually, we are imposing that.
No, you're not.
Sir,
In fact, the Secretary of Finance backed up the position of not the BIR, but of the OSG. Sabi niya, 2% lang impose dyan. Bakit ka ba mahal niyo yung POGO? Sabi
Sir,
nga ni Senator Dillon.
Sir, actually, the Secretary is with us regarding the imposition of the 5%.
Oh,
Right now, sir, among the licensee, 11 licensees we have, there are only 3 who are paying the 5% franchise tax.
and they're Philippine-based.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because your contention is now, based on the OSG, na they are not Philippine-based. The rest are abroad. They're foreign
Whether or not,
entities.
sir, whether or not they are abroad, we maintain our position that they should pay the franchise tax.
Of 5.
Yes, sir.
So are you imposing that?
We
All
are-
the 61? Why don't you have the BIR? Collect 5%. Huh?
Yes, sir, we're helping them. We're giving them
How
all
are you
the
helping them?
Sir, we're giving them all the data.
Wala pa rin nakukolekta, oh.
Yeah, dun sa ibang hearing, sa labor hearing tungkol sa POGO, Chairman Joel Villanueva discovered that in fact the franchise fees have never been paid.
And that amounts to about 50 billion pesos. That's the estimate, correct?
All taxes, that is all taxes, sir. All in all.
Right now, ano ang all taxes na ngayon?
Actually, for the year 2019, BIR collected 6.4 billion from POGO.
6.4 billion, ang layo sa 50 billion.
Because of the issue, sir, that they contend through their lawyers that they should not be taxed.
Who's they?
The lawyers of this POGO licenses.
Akala ko, foreign naman yan. Biglang humaharap dito, may lawyer.
Yes, they have representatives.
Sino?
Sir, I cannot divulge the...
Why can you not divulge? This is a public hearing.
Okay, sir. Actually, sir, it's the local agents, the local representatives here, the one representing them.
Chinese.
And I think PAGCOR has the list.
Oh, ako, sino yan?
Uh,
Kano ko ba tinutulungan niyo sila?
yes, sir. Sir, there are two kinds of operators, land-based and foreign-based. Locally based operators and foreign-based. All foreign-based operators have a local agent counterpart here in the Philippines.
Oh.
So they are the ones liable to pay all the taxes and the regulatory fee from PAGCOR. We have submitted the list of all local gaming agent and locally based operators with BIR.
But the position of the BIR is they should pay 5%.
Yes, Sir
Do you
Honor.
agree with that?
However, according to the opinion of OSG, they said that the foreign-based operators are not liable for the 5%, but it is up to them to
What is the
reconcile it.
definition then of foreign base? You have Chinese working here in mass, about 400,000, right?
No.
Ilan? Ilan ba talaga
According
yung
to our
POGO
list,
rito?
according to our
Do you have a
list,
listing of all these POGO people? Does immigration have a list of all these POGO people working here?
Yes, Your Honor. We were given the licensees plus the extensions. We have the number and we have the names.
How many are there? And please give a copy to the committee. And does should not the police find out where these people are? What do you think, General Eliazar? Would it be in the interest of the country to know where these people are living. They might be held up. They might be kidnapped. You want to protect them.
Sir, actually, we base our operations on the reports coming from the public, particularly on some post villages wherein there are some cited Chinese nationals. So we conduct our case with operation and then.
No, I don't understand what you're answering. All I'm asking is, would it be in the interest of our country when you have a large numbers of foreigners here in the country to know where they are?
Yes, sir. That will help us to, well, as
Protect them.
Protect them, and also in our peacekeeping operation.
That's correct. Wow. Do we have that general immigration? Ilan ba ho lahat talaga?
Sir, based on our record, and this was data sharing with DOLE and BIR and PAGCOR, for Chinese, we have 35,644 working in Pogo. Other nationalities, about almost 7,000, Your Honor.
Are you sure? My God, those numbers are spurious. I'll give you an idea. And these are your numbers.
Yes,
From
sir.
January to February, 530,000 or 80,000 Chinese came in to our country at the height of the coronavirus.
Sir, may I make a correction on the figures?
On
The
my figures
500
or your figures?
On our figures that we submitted to you, sir, the 538,000.
Oh.
Of the 538,000, this comprised of different nationalities, Your Honor. Hindi lang po Chinese ito. These are those who entered in the period of December, January, and February.
No, but the question that we asked there is, how many Chinese came in? I'm a former tourism secretary. You know, I want to know how many people are coming into the country, how many Chinese, because that's our market.
It's
You give me a figure of 538,000, now you're telling me that's not accurate?
yung binigay namin sir na figure sa inyo was for all nationalities that came in from mainland China for the period that you requested. Of this, there were 274,411 from Chinese that entered on December, 255 for January.
Malaki. Oh.
Yes, Your Honor.
January.
But on February, there were, since the ban was effected, only 6,446
Ewan ko sabihin yung ban. Ang sinasabi ko, January, February, December.
Yes, sir. December and January, wala pa po yung ban.
December,
So,
January ilan?
yes, sir.
Tama ba
December is 274,000. And for January 2020 is 255,000.
Correct.
Your
So
Honor.
that's your mind. So about 525,000. Yes? 275? 250?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, 525,000.
But they did not
The
enter
coronavirus
when there was
started way
a...
before December. Some people are surmising that. That's why we wanted to find out these numbers. And many of them are POGO. And I have another question following that, which is appropriate. There was a plane that got our Filipino caught, I think, in Wuhan or something like that, Philippine Airlines flight, and they went there and they pick up about 40 to 60 Filipinos and another 60, I'm not sure about this, Chinese. When they arrive at the airport, and I'm going to ask, I'm trying to ask everybody, the general manager of the airport, Ernie, is that it? Edmund Real, I'm sorry. Edmund Real, when that arrived here, we have pictures of the Filipinos immediately brought to a bus that took them to Clark because they had to be quarantined. And the Chinese mingled in the airport and they were told to go home in their respective homes. Meaning to say, maraming humahabol makapagtrabaho ulit dito sa Pogo at meron silang mga tao na ganyan na binabigyan pa ng special treatment. That's why I always ask, ilang tao yan? I have to ask this, I'm sorry. Because
Yes, sir.
pagkatamaan ng coronavirus tayo, di mas malaking problema yan. Pinag-uusapan namin kayo na bago pumunta rito.
The
Papunta-
plane that took in the repatriates from Wuhan, numbering to about 48.
Ang Pilipino.
Filipino. Walang
Ah.
kasama doon, sir, na mga Chinese.
Meron.
Merong Chinese, sir, but I think spouse of one of the, but there were no other
Chinese even had
passengers.
their spouses with them. We're aware of that.
Yung Filipino, sir,
I wrote Secretary Duque a letter, and he referred me to that situation because I was alarmed. From the very beginning, my other identity is Red Cross, all right? So, I checked because I was worried, papasok dito yan. Sakit ulo talaga yan pagka nagkaroon tayo ng epidemic. Hindi ko sinasayang pandemic, ha? Kaya binantay namin yan. Narinig namin sa mga tao namin doon sa loob, meron dumating 45 Pilipinas, tapos yung mga 60 na mga Chinese, together with some of their wives, nakikalubili doon sa mga personnel natin. That's why sabi namin, ang unang bibigyan ng Red Cross ng mga mask, customs, immigration, the tourism, passport division of the DFA, nagbigay tayo niyan. Kaya nga, para mag-ingat, delikado. Anyway, the point is made that there were about 500,000 tourists between December and January, and the corollary situation there is that you may have spread of disease. Fortunately enough, wala pa. But then it's a very, very unknown disease na kumisan, hindi pala 6 weeks lang yan, umaabot ng 12 weeks, kumisan hindi lang 14 weeks, umaabot pa na mas matagal. Did that actually happen?
As far as I know, Your Honor, yung repatriation flight from Wuhan did not include Filipinos lang po ito. Yung ibang Filipinos doon, may spouses na at saka anak. I think one of them. So they were given special entry to the Philippines, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we have pictures about that and I'll try to find out. Meron ba? Asan? Here is my letter to Secretary Duque. Maybe it can help you, no? Makita ko dito. Makita ko. Dear Secretary Duque, it has been brought to my attention that the Philippine Airlines special flight from Xiamen, hindi Wuhan, Xiamen, China, arrived Monday night at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport carrying 124 passengers. As I understand it, all passengers in that flight will be quarantined for 14 days. However, what concerns me is that the passengers were allowed to go on home quarantine, and some of them even mingled with the people at the RIA and other passengers from the 2 other flights from other countries that arrived at the same time. Such lapse on the part of our frontliners in the RIA, allowing the passengers from China to go outside designated areas in the RIA, could have already compromised the preventive and quarantine measures that are in place and could spark local transmission of the COVID-19 in our country. You may not be aware of the incident, but you should immediately conduct an investigation of this and take action accordingly. So that's a Xiamen flight.
I think I could ask
Ed,
Ed Monreal, sir. But may I just make a correction on the figures that I said? For December, sir, yung...
pala yung correction mo.
Yes, sir. Yung 200 plus na dumating for December and 200 for January, composed of different nationalities. Ang Chinese doon, for December is 97,883. For January, 128,000 plus. And for February, 2,254 lang po ang Chinese doon.
Bumagsak na yung February. Oh.
Yes, sir. Dahil February 2, we implemented the travel ban for the whole of China and the 2 special autonomous regions.
You know, that's the problem with immigration. Sometimes you keep changing your figures. They're like rubber band.
Sir, we submitted just last night the figures kasi ang hiningi po sa amin,
Can you please
Ah.
research again and find out kung ilan talaga? Because
ito na sir, this is the official
yan na yan.
figure.
Hindi
This
mo na
is the
babawiin
official
yan, ha?
Hindi na po.
Sige. Take your word for it. And for the moment, anyway. Now, I just have one question with BSP. And this is not the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, right?
Not, Mr. Chair, it's Bangko Sentral. No?
You supervise money exchanges, right? Money service businesses like foreign exchange, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Do you have a listing of all the foreign exchange services in the country?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Legal
We-
and illegal.
The one registered with the BSP, we have a list.
Ilan ho unregistered?
We submitted already today, Mr. Chair.
Today only.
Yes.
Yeah, in your submission, and I just got it now, sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
155 is Excellent Forex Corporation.
Yes.
Lumalabas yan sa aming investigation na ito ay kasama sa magbibigay ng perang umaabot dyan. Are you familiar with this corporation?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sino ho ang may-ari niyan?
I'm getting the records, Mr. Chair. The ownership, Mr. Chair, for Excellent is Jitesh Kagrani. Currently, the CEO and also a director. Ownership is 30%.
What did you say, ma'am? Sorry.
The first, Mr. Chair, is Mr. Jitesh Kagrani, the CEO director,
Aswani.
as the CEO and at the same time also the director, owning 30% of the entity. And then Ruel Alfonso is the chairman and also the president of
Hold
the
it a while, ma'am. Hold it a while. Emil Alfonso.
Ruel
Ruel.
Alfonso, the
Oh, sige,
chairman,
Teresa.
president, owning 20%.
Uh-huh.
And then Emil Alfonso.
That's what I was referring to, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I have him as one of those who was bringing and declared, ilan million? Huh? $2.5 million. He brought it in. Physically, in cash. We've been chasing after this agency, wondering why. By the way, I don't know, is it accurate to say that they even have a branch in Marawi?
Per our records, Mr. Chair, we don't, they did not declare that particular branch in Marawi. That's based on our records.
There are 3 transactions, but I have information that they're in Marawi. And the reason why it caught my attention is, as you know, merong foreign funding na pumasok doon sa Maute. Now, maybe I'm just overly zealous, and I am ready to be corrected, but I would suggest you find out. But what is this Emil Alonso? Well, we tried to subpoena him, along with all the Rodriguezes. We even went to Bulacan and one Rodriguez there with the same name, and I will not mention her name. Sabi niya, hindi ako yan. Oh. And by the way, one of those related to Rodriguez had a Facebook account. They now replaced the Facebook with another name. Does that sound like they're in illegal activities? And one of them is no longer in Facebook. We did our homework. We took photos of the Facebook account of these people. Ngayon, pinapalitan na nila yung pangalan nila. Tinanggal na yung pangalan nila. Now, my good friend there, Director De Guzman, is smiling. Would you say that's a very strange behavior at the very least? May tinatago?
I suppose so, Your Honor. But
I have with me here the chief of our computer crime division. We can work it out.
Aha. So we will give you all the names of these people if you don't mind, because we're trying to bring them to the committee. How? Where are they getting this money? Can you give me the account of the Rodriguez's again? Ilan yun? 200 plus million, di ba? Kuha ka ng kuha rito eh. 283 million. Ma'am, 283 million ang pinasok nito, and I'm referring also to Director de Guzman, na 283 million ang pinasok nitong pamilyang ito. Tapos kayo, nagpapalit na sila ng pangalan. I can show it to you, but I won't. Out of respect for them, I'll show it to you in private.
Yes, Your Honor. We can start.
Maybe we
working.
can ask the computer.
Yes, Your Honor. And we also have here our person from directly in contact with the Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Ay pala naman eh, bakit di niya pahulihin yung mga yan?
Sir, we will just wait for your
Ha?
order, sir, so that we
Would
can
you
work
need
it
an order to, look, supposing, one evening, magkasama tayo, nakita natin, isang tao may dala-dalang $5 million sa bag. Nakita niyo $5 million. Anong gagawin ng pulis? Tatawagin natin si General Eliazar. General, meron kami nasa lubong dito, $5 million ang dala. Anong gagawin natin, boss?
So, sir, we'll just coordinate also with
Ang bilis mo na.
in case that it's from the airport, so we'll just coordinate with the
No,
airport.
he's just walking on the street.
So
Walking in multinational subdivision.
Yes, probably we'll invite him for questioning and interview.
Right.
And then from there,
Would you ask him saan galing ang pera?
Yeah, yes, we will, sir. Of
And if
course.
he doesn't tell you?
And then we can ask for other questions.
Right,
Yes, sir.
right.
That will be the start of
See,
our
that's what I
case
mean, eh.
operation.
You know, perception is worse than reality. Because all this money coming in to our airports, and that's only one airport so far, pasok ng pasok, daan-daang milyon dolyar, eh hindi natin sinisita. Kaya I use that example. Nakita natin, nag-mayor rin naman ako, mahawak rin naman ng pulis. Pag nagtanong, saan mo kinuha yung pera yan? Ha? Paliwanag mo nga. Di ba tatalawin natin yan? Oy, 283 million yung pinasok nyo. Ba't di nyo paliwanag? Dapat kinukuha na natin yan, iniimbita na yan. Pwede po ba yan?
Sir, we can always invite him and
Correct.
ask for other questions.
Attorney, I'm sorry, this is your day. Attorney Racela, do you have relatives in Olongapo? Because I had a staff by the name of Eddie Racela who's very, very masipag. But you look very disturbed today. I'm sure you're a very happy person. Di ba? I mean, common sense.
Mr. Chair, again, the framework of money laundering is that there should be an unlawful activity before there could be a money laundering crime. So, in cases of building up our money laundering offense, we need to coordinate with our law enforcement agencies and intelligence.
You have NBI with you, right? You have customs with you. DOJ, is it part of the, nabasa ko, gagawa pa kayo ng special agency. Meron na kayong special agency. Meron kayong coordinating committee. Nagbi-meeting kayo, di ba? General?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh. Ngayon, gagawa ng palibago as if it's gonna change. Meron na eh. Hindi ba kung mangyari yan? Uy, ang dami pumapasok na doon yan. Ano gagawin natin dyan? I mean, I'm just using my common sense. And I'm stretching my legal, strategy to find out, saan pa galing ang pera nyo? BIR, tanong mo, saan pa galing ang pera niyan? Ba't may pera kang ganyan? What would you do, Mr. BIR? Nakita mo yung tao, may pera ganyan kalaki.
Sir, we will follow the money, the trail, and then we will tax whoever, kasi possession is different from ownership.
Di ba gano'n rin yan? Gano'n rin sa drugs.
Yes.
Nahuli mo ng drugs, sino ang supply sa'yo? Galing sa Baguio, hahabulin namin sa Baguio ng araw yan. Galing ko saan? It's the same thing. The whole point of money laundering is to follow the trail of the money. Di ba? So I'm really totally, Alvaro, what word did you use? Disappointed, devastated, all of the words. Hindi ko malaman bakit hindi nyo mapanda. And that is the point of this committee. You can be assured we'll tighten up money laundering. We'll have, in aid of, with your cooperation. Natatakot ako sa'yo. Sinasabi mo, wala eh. Unlawful activity. Ano ba unlawful activity ba kailangan? Ang haba-haba na yun, maglalagay ka lang ng linya doon eh. Hanggang, ilan yun? 34 items ata yun, unlawful activity doon eh. You just want a specific line that says, money laundering as described as follows. Di ba? That's what you want, right? Or that's not what you want?
Mr. Chair, again, there are two offenses in a money laundering investigation: the predicate offense or unlawful activity and the money laundering. So we can never prosecute a money laundering offense unless there are proceeds as well as an unlawful activity. So we now have, okay, cash, but we need to investigate further on the sources.
Doesn't that take the form of mala prohibita? An inordinate amount of money being carried, an inordinate amount of activity with a lot of money that I've never seen in my life, in cash. Di ba? Mala prohibita. Di ba?
We don't have any legal basis for saying that, Mr. Chair.
Alam mo, may case dito. Ito ang case. Oh. Si Frank Tondon talaga, iniinis ako eh. In seizure and forfeiture cases, in the case of Kamata versus CIR, it is not necessary that there was intent to circumvent our statutes. Proof of malice or deliberate intent, mens rea, is not essential in offenses punished by special laws. Is the money laundering law a special law?
Yes, Mr. Chair. And,
Which are mala prohibita. Mere possession, you can be punished like a firearm, right? Criminal intent is not necessary where the acts are prohibited for reasons of public policy. What is the public policy? In our own words, public policy, we want the criminal not to profit from crime. We do not want him to launder his money so he can perpetrate his ill will. We do not want to have him spread his poison to society, and therefore, we must act. That's why it is in the nature of mala prohibita na mere possession of so many dollars, huli ka. Tama si Jerry Elizar, tama ang NBI, tatanungin kita, saan ba galing ang pera? Tama ang BIR, saan mo kinuha yan? Saan mo kinuha yan? Hahanapin natin yung trail. Di ba? That is your purpose. That's why I'm shocked.
Mr. Chair, under Section 4 of the AMLA, mere possession of proceeds of unlawful activity may be punished if the possessor has knowledge that those funds are proceeds of an unlawful
The
activity.
predicate crime, tama si Attorney Marcos. Attorney. May predicate crime, smuggling.
Again, Mr. Chair, in coordination with Bureau of Customs, we do not see any smuggling violation.
Investigate suspicious. It is not only an auspicious occasion that we find, it is suspicious. I'm not trying to convince you. I am convinced. You cannot convince me that your position has legal legs. Otherwise, it is a toothless law. Walang ipin. Walang kamandag. Kaya, papasok si Rodriguez, didilaan ka pa, o pasok na naman yung isa, wala ka. Huliin mo ako, harap-harapan, hayagan. Kung ako sasabihin, huwag kang maglabas ng pera dito, hold na ka sa labas. Hindi. Tanong ko ngayon sa mga pulis, Sir, meron ba kayo nababalitaan sa inyong intelligence na may nag-escort niyan? General Lizar? Wala pa.
None so far, sir, but we are now conducting investigation because of this.
That is why you should be the next chief PNP. You are moving forward, di ba? You have to move forward because otherwise they will laugh all the way to the bank. I mean, you know, in the kingdom of the blind, even the one-eyed man is king. You know, in customs, natutuwa ako, Now, so far, my experience, and I'm not trying to butter up, I don't have any business involving customs. Natutuwa ako na ang customs, gumagawa ng sariling kabada. Okay, boss, nahuli ko ito. Pinailan na namin ang kaso, 700,000. Hindi ba ma-predicate crime yun? Nahuli nyo na sana, hindi nag-declare. Tapos bumalik siya sa'yo, nagdi-declare na siya ngayon. Ano ba kailangan natin? Sorry, I'm just passionate.
Sir, the commissioner mentioned a while ago the laws that are being applied in regard to false declaration. And that is not one of the predicate offenses of smuggling. He mentioned sections.
We can argue this till we're blue in the face. Again, from the standpoint of perception, talo kayo. Government loses. Government is seen as weak. Government has not done any positive step to quell this massive inflow of allegedly not unlawful. If it is not unlawful, is it lawful?
There's a presumption of good faith, Mr. Chair.
Oh, I know,
under
the presumption
civil
of
code.
good faith doesn't exist when there is already somebody who's been arrested for non-disclosure of the money. That is shattered. The presumption of good faith is shattered by the fact na pari kang mag-anak niya, Rodriguez, ang nagpapasok ng pera.
I agree, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. At least we agree on that point.
But the illegality of failure to declare would not
Suffice?
suffice for us, for the money laundering law to kick in, Mr. Chair.
All right. Take your word for it. We'll make my report according to what you say. My God, if we're going to do this like this, walang mangyayari sa atin dito. Mr. Rosales, I'm sorry, I'm trying to call everybody. Wala na. Did you want to make a statement, sir?
Yes, just a short one. I'm Mr. Louis Matmar. I come from an advocacy group at Banday Consumer, and I'm here to represent our group who has been monitoring all these developments regarding Chinese inflow in the Philippines because it's affecting our economy. But beyond the economic and legal matters, sir, what I'd like to raise, because all the points that we have raised in a statement we released have already been raised. But I wish to add one more thing. Well, the numbers have been given. There's only a net inflow of 7 billion. Okay, so it's not much as we have computed. It's 0.02%.
That's the point of Senator Drilon.
Yes, yes. I'm also a professor of political sociology. And in sociology, we have a debate whether to consider really gambling as a deviant behavior, whether it is a deviant behavior or not. The fact is, and it has been established in this hearing, that it attracts other deviant behaviors, in particular racketeering, illegal drugs, usury, illicit sex, those things. So you know, if you consider all this, I think it's really on the negative side. This matter of POGOs really should be settled not just on legal and economic matters, but also on sociological impacts in society. And I think we really have to consider that.
So you're really arguing against POGO?
Yes, sir.
That's
Yes, sir.
right.
And we have a case already in the case of, let me add to the countries you raised earlier. Laos already banned online gaming as well. And if you look at the figures, if you compare the figures between the Philippines and Laos, we are 18 times richer than Laos GDP-wise. And still we're allowing these things to come in. We don't need the POGOs. Laos rejected them already, and then they're even poorer than us. And I think therefore all the arguments against or for the POGO are really, you know.
Let me take the
don't
devil's
matter.
advocate. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes.
Ikaw muna.
Yes,
Thank you.
Senator Marcos.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps this is a chance for AMLA to redeem itself. Is it true that you made a recommendation to the cabinet to stop POGO for 2 reasons last year? Someone from AMLA testified in an ongoing hearing about POGO that the position of AMLA together with the BSP was to stop POGO as the benefits were so marginal. Is that correct? May nag-testify po ng ganon. May recommendation to the cabinet na tigilan na yung POGO. Doon kami sang-ayon. Isa, ang sabi ninyo, yung financial flow, although inflow and outflow was 54 billion, yun nga, na-quote yung 7 billion na sinasabi ni Professor. At ang sabi, napakaliit nito for a 18.6 trillion economy. So yung financial flow was so minimal, the net inflow was so tiny as to be insignificant. That was the first ground. Ang second ground, yung kinagagalit ni Chairman Gordon. Meron kayong risk assessment na there was an increasing threat in money laundering, unknown beneficial ownership, that there was very little regulation or licensing, and that there was a peculiarity in the definition of co-service provider. Parang may ganon na sinasabi yung AMLA. Tama ho ba yun? Yung risk assessment ninyo, malabo yung POGO. Mas maraming magulo kesa sa napapakinabangan.
Yung pong sinasabi na recommendations ay hindi po namin nirekomenda, but yung study po namin ay yung first sectoral risk assessment namin. Ang objective po doon is to analyze yung financial impact to our economy kung i-stop po yung POGOs. And that's why our analysis nga is 0.029 lang ang effect, yung net inflow.
Maliit lang ang impact.
Yes po.
At saka meron rin kayong risk assessment.
Yes.
Yung threat ng money laundering, unknown beneficial owners, all that stuff that Chairman Gordon was already talking about.
Tama po, Madam
So
Chair.
tama, sinasabi na ninyo yon, kayo na mismo. At yung co-service provider na iba pa dun sa franchise holder, kaya magulo. Tama po ba yon?
Tama po, Madam Senator, Mr. Chair.
Tama naman pala yung study ninyo, bakit takot na takot kayo?
Yung pong study namin ay tools lang to guide our decision maker in deciding.
Memory serves correct. Itong POGO nag-start sa Cagayan, correct? Di ba? Yan ang bigay daan ng investigasyon namin na mahuli namin yung dalawang immigration commissioner na yung mga Chinese noong araw nagpunta sa Clark. Medyo nakabienes na doon. Pagdating dito, pumasok pa sa hotel, lako na ng TV. Matawas si Director de Guzman. Kinuha namin yung TV, dala-dala na yung mga maleta. After 8 hours, naghihintay sila. Sila kayo doon sa kotse. Tapos yung isa, humabol pa. Hindi ko nakuha yung share ko. Tama ba yan, Director de Guzman? Doon nagsimula yung POGO. Kaya natigil yan. Bakit lumalabas ka dyan? Ang tanong ko, kung iniwan na lang niya sa Cagayan, kung iniwan na lang sa Cagayan at talagang binantayan ng pag-Korean, di ba? Hindi ba po pwede yan? O, ayan yung litrato, dala-dala yung mga bago. 15 million video.
Your Honor, historically, kaya hindi nila ma-operate sa loob ng Cagayan yan is because there was no infrastructure. Kaya laging nasa Makati sila noon or sa Pasig.
Pero mo sa Makati, pinamahal yung renta. That's why hindi papasa yan eh. But anyway, descending from that, there are obviously social costs here. Now, to the people who will make policy, we have to look at the social costs, the advantages and the disadvantages, weigh it. Ako, from the standpoint of, magbalik kayo ng pera dito. Ang dami niyong kinuha sa amin sa cost. But that's philosophy. That's philosophy. We're not going to make decisions on that basis. But the point is, nagdadala ng baril, foul. Nakakamatay, foul. Tumatalo yung babae nakauba doon sa third floor na isang subdivision, foul. Ang daming foul eh. So how can a government agency like PACCOR say, sayang naman yung pera? At how can my friend over there from Money Laundering Council, when I count, kung kinuha natin yung perang pinasok dito na umaabot na ng $600+ million, may hawak tayong pera kahit paano at kung manalo tayo, di mababayaran. Tingnan nyo ha, magkano utang natin sa IMF? Papakita ko lang. Halimbawa, manalo tayo dyan. Can you? Yan na. Just a konting commercial lang ito. Pwera yung aeroplano, pwera yung C-130. Ang utang natin ay, ayan, Australia, $596 million. This is simplistic, but just to let the public realize it. 633 million, di ba yun na tayo sa Australia? Canada, 479. Bayad na tayo. Pati BVI pala, may utang tayo, 205 million. Luxembourg, 133 million. So we can pay with $500 million the total debt to some of these countries. But sa IMF, meron dyan. Saan yung IMF? Ayan o, yung Centennial Water Resource, Kaliwa Dam, $231.59 million. So kung makukuha ninyo yan, di ba? Malaking bagay. Eh nakukuha ng Amerikano, tayo hindi makakuha. Illegal. Sa International Finance Corporation, $289 million. Sa International Fund for Agricultural Development, $102 million. My gosh, makikipagsapalaran na ako kung ako ang Money Laundering Council. Ulihin nyo yan. Marami naman tayong may dadalang ko. Di bawiin nila. Kung mababawi nila, I don't think mababawi nila yan. At saka andali. 5 lang yung magkakapatid din. By the way, for the record, before we adjourn here, we suspend, we invited these people. Sila pila namin kagad. Dahil magmamadali tayo, magsasara rin yung Senado for the Holy Week break. No?
Hindi naman magsasara.
Magsasara lang. Break nga, sinabi ko na nga eh. Kaya na pa ako pinapahirapan ito. Mary Rose Rodriguez, received by Rosalina Rodriguez. Yan, grandmother niya. Janet Rodriguez, received by Rosalina, mother of the addressee. John Joshua Rodriguez. Michael Julian Rodriguez Calderon. Simon John Rodriguez, ito yung unang nahuli. Nandito pala si Natasha eh. Di ba nagpalit ng litrato? Nagpalit ang Facebook name. Tingnan nyo. What does that indicate to me? Nung lumabas sa yung pangalan, nagpalit na sa Facebook yung pangalan. Ha? Today, nagpalit. I'm not going to show it to you because I'm not into that. Elizabeth Rodriguez, na-receive nila lahat. So, at the next hearing, it is our hope that we can get them to explain what they cannot explain to some of our officials. Ano? Yeah. A subpoena is a command by the Senate for them to appear. And if they do not appear, we can have them arrested. And maybe we want, I don't think I can tell the Bureau of Immigration to hold them, but you could put them on your watch list. Right?
We'll ask the Department of Justice for the lookout
Maybe you
for
can
the
apply
case.
sa court.
Yes, sir.
Can you help us there, Mr. Perete?
Mr. Chair, PHDO can only be applied before the courts if a preliminary investigation has already commenced.
But maybe you might, I don't know, yung ba ngayon, preliminary investigation kailangan?
Yes, Your Honor, but the Department of Justice can issue a watch list order for monitoring purposes.
But the Senate, I think, can also. Can you study that? We will study that on our side.
We will study.
Because we're a co-equal branch of the government, and in the pursuit of investigations, the Supreme Court, in several cases, has sustained our position.
We will look into the matter, Mr. Chair.
It's not the matter. It's what's the matter. Yun ang gawin natin. Okay?
Before we adjourn,
Sir, yung kamag-anak mo, Mistizo, may tatanong sa'yo.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, sir, I would like to report on the number of the casino-related kidnapping incidents. Since 2017 until today, we have, there are 73 cases reported to us, 17 for 2017, 16 for 2018, 38 for 2019, and 2 for 2020.
What are those, sir?
These are 73 casino-related kidnapping incidents, and the number of victims totaled to 80. The breakdown is as follows. For 2017, 19 victims. For 2018, 17 victims. For 2019, 42 victims. And 2 victims for 2020, all Chinese nationals. victims
Victims of kidnappings?
of casino-related kidnapping incidents.
Casino-related.
Yes, sir.
Can you read that slowly? Kasi
Yes, sir.
nahihirapan si Senator
Yes, sir.
Gordon.
I'll say this again, sir.
Where are you from? Originally?
Quezon.
Quezon Province, sir.
Sino naman na English si Senator Angara noong araw, saka ni President Quezon, ha?
Pakiulit mo lang, slowly,
Yes,
slowly.
sir.
Biro lang.
For number of cases, casino-related kidnapping incidents, 20,
Casino-related kidnapping incidents. O, sige.
for 2017, 17 cases.
17 cases.
2018, 16 cases.
Okay.
2019, 38 cases.
How many?
38.
38.
For
38.
2020, 2 cases so far for a total of 73.
Total of
73.
70.
73.
73.
Now for
Kidnapping. Okay.
number of victims, sir, for the victims, for 2017, 19 victims. For 2018, 17 victims. For 2019, 42 victims and 2 victims for 2020. Total of 80 all Chinese nationals.
Mhm.
80.
Yes, sir, 80. And for homicide incidents related to this, for 2018 and 2017, 0. For 2019, 7 cases. So it's 7 cases.
Do you have a handle on all these Chinese? Are there Chinese gangs operating here like triads?
Sir, we don't know.
They're as old as dirt, you know. They've been there in China for several centuries.
Yes, sir. But, well, these cases are those we handled, reported to us. We don't know those cases that happened.
The question is, do you have an analysis na pwede nang pumasok dito yan, nakakapasok na? May mga gang na yan.
We believe that they are in groups or gangs. That's why
And you have identified them. That's important.
we have to check with the anti-kidnapping group, but believe that I believe that they've been following up some cases related to this one, sir.
And can you just repeat the report on prostitution dens?
Yes, sir. For prostitution dens,
Slowly lang, please.
yes, sir. We have conducted 10 police operations.
10.
Yes, sir. Against the prostitution dens, basically coming from the reports from the public, involving foreign nationals, which resulted in the arrest of a total of 60 suspects, 59 of whom are Chinese citizens, while 1 was a Saudi national. This operation brought a total of 199 rescued victims.
All Chinese.
173 of them were Chinese citizens, 1 of whom was identified as a minor. Other victims include 13 Vietnamese, 2 Russians, 2 Mongolians, 1 Japanese, and 8 Filipinos.
International. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Invites all kinds of everybody.
Okay. What about, are there other crimes that in your judgment were casino or pogo related?
Yes, sir.
What
I
are
don't
those?
have the records as of the moment, but we can have it.
Can you extrapolate?
contained.
Yes.
Exclusively Pogo
Yeah.
or both or exclusively casino?
Well, these are just casino related, but for other crimes, since they've been here for quite some time and they've been involved with some petty crimes, it could, we can say, double the number. But for sure, Your Honors, may we have the numbers be given to us by Directorate for Investigation so we can furnish this body of those accurate records, sir.
If we can have that report, so that we can consider it in the craft
Yes, sir.
policy.
We will, sir.
We can, Mr. Chairman, is it your intention just to suspend this and have another hearing?
Yes.
So we can reserve our other questions for
Yes.
them.
Senator Gedron's battery is wearing down. I have to recharge him again together. So
You are older than me, so your battery is gone.
I may be older than you, but I look fresher. All right, May 12 is the next hearing. March 12, sorry, March 12.
March 12, okay.
March 12.
See, you're
that
getting
is-
old talaga. March 12, May 12 na sinasabi.
That's because
I
it's
just-
here the birthday of my wife.
Okay.
Basta pa rin.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add the other side of the coin, and that is the PRC's unhappiness with the Philippines continuing with the POGO operations. China President Xi Jinping has decided to take the bull by the horns after his request to ban POGO has been repeatedly ignored by the Philippine government. So that thousands of Chinese nationals working for POGOs got a shock when their passports were quickly canceled. This has even affected Chinese traders legitimately working in Metro Manila. So this is the other side.
Passports have been canceled?
Yes, passports have been canceled, so we should get more information about this because, in fact, gambling, as we well know, is known as the Chinese cancer. As good as they are at risk-taking and deal-making and business, the same gambling instinct is also evident in the casinos, including online operations. Thank you, Paul.
Mr. Chairman, with that information of Senator Amy Marcos, you may be talking about 200,000 undocumented workers already because their passports have been canceled. What does the Bureau of Immigration intend to do about this? Will there be mass deportation of these people?
Your Honor, we have initially engaged with the Chinese embassy, but they have not furnished us yet of the list of Chinese nationals they declared as fugitives. But when they will give us to us, we will be conducting surely series of operations. And
I hope you have a contingency plan.
yes, sir. Actually,
Yes, that's going to be difficult.
yes, sir. But the Chinese embassy usually conducts mass deportation. They send chartered flights for arrested persons.
They will send chartered flights here
Yes,
to
sir.
pick up their people.
To pick up the
But you will not allow
fugitives.
their police to come in here.
No, sir.
I hope not, because that's what they did in Cambodia.
They just stay at the airport because they will be escorting.
Really?
They will be escorting the arrested fugitives back to China, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, let's show that we can handle that in case that happens. But I would not take kindly, neither I think or my colleagues take kindly to police authorities of China coming in here and making the arrest themselves.
No, sir. Those assigned at the Chinese embassy, they're the ones joining the operations. But there are no Chinese police not assigned with the embassy that is joining the operation. Immigration agents just come in. They stay at the airport to escort those deportees, Your Honor.
So right now, your action is simply to ask the Chinese embassy, who are these people? Is that correct?
That's right, Your Honor.
That's 200,000 more or less. When do you expect to get the list?
We are still engaging with the
We are
Chinese authorities.
You know,
Your
that's
Honor.
very typical. We are asking, we have written this, they have written that. That's a bureaucracy. That's a bureaucratic way of responding to the questions of the committee.
That is
Sir,
precisely
the-
why I asked a question earlier, that we should know where they are.
Yes, sir. According to the chief of the intelligence of the Bureau of Immigration, the Chinese authorities at the embassy will be canceling the passports of not all of those in the POGO, but of the highly suspicious individuals engaged in telecom fraud, Your Honor. So we are still awaiting the list
Lahat
from
yung
them.
Pogo, telecom lahat yan eh. Telecom lahat yan eh.
Yeah.
Ang dinig ko kasi, para sa mga Chinese authorities, problema ng Pilipinas yan. Pinapasok natin, tayo daw dapat may listahan. Hindi naman daw nila problema yan.
Mabuti
Bakit
na-
hindi ninyo alam kung sino-sino nagsipasok at naglanding sa Pogo? Yun ang sinasabi nila.
Ma'am, we do not, we cannot cancel their passports. It's them that cancel the passport and tell us, we have canceled the passports of these Chinese nationals, thus they are declared as fugitives, help us
Parang takaw gulpi
account for
po
them.
tayo eh. Takaw gulpi na. Alam naman natin, pag
Ganito
nainis
na
yan,
lang.
second warning na yan. Papasok na yung PLA. Naalala ninyo yung nangyari sa Kampuchea at Myanmar. Binulldoze mismo yung casino at yung mga pogo operations. Nagsawa na sila sa kaiintay at hindi sila pinapansin.
We cannot conduct the operations, ma'am, without the information from the Chinese
Senator Duran is
authorities.
recognized.
Sir, I am not pleased with your answer that we are waiting for the embassy to provide us the list, because the list can come a year from now. Can you give us, I will give, Mr. Chairman, may we request the immigration people to give us a specific action plan by our next hearing, so that we can have something more concrete than we asking for the names. As Senator Marcos said, we should know these names. They came in here. Can we have...
Sir, pumasok kasi ito sila, properly
Sige na,
documented.
huwag na tayo magdebate doon. Alas 3 na ng hapon. Bigyan nyo na lang kami ng proposed ng inyong iniisip na gawin natin. First, I suppose the first thing to do is verify the information of Senator Marcos, which I also got before, that all the passports of those involved in Pogo were canceled.
And even if that is not
We'll do
accurate,
that.
you should implement immediately a census. You can talk to the barangay captains, and one by one, they should check them out. You're not going to have time. They'll run all over the place, you know. So
Yes,
anyway, just one final question with permission of my two colleagues. Where are all the branches of Excellent Forex Incorporated located? Please submit the list. Central Bank.
Mr. Chair, per our records, they don't declare, there's no branches that was declared to us. No branch.
Can you
that
ask
was
them?
declared. Yes, we will.
Of course you can.
We're currently actually engaging them, Mr. Chair.
Yes, and you also have intelligence agents, right?
Yes, Mr.
Of course,
Chair.
you can
Actually,
find
the
out, right?
our examiners are
The
working.
trick in
with-
government is to make it work. Leadership is poor when it cannot make the people work in the country for the benefit of the country.
Yes, Mr.
On
Chair.
that note, I would like to, yes.
Before we
Attention.
before we suspend, Mr. Chair, let me just place of record my commendation for the Anti-Money Laundering Council for coming up with a risk assessment report on Pogo. It contained a lot of information. If we can provide officially the committee with a copy of that. After having said that on the Anti-Money Laundering Council, particularly on Executive Director Acela, let me put on the record that I'm a little disappointed with the way PAGCOR is handling this problem, and putting on record that we cannot stop them because we're earning money. My goodness gracious, with all the social problems that we see here, the kidnappings, the homicides, the prostitution dens, and yet for a few billion pesos, we're saying, tuloy dapat yan at kumikita tayo dyan. Ngayon, the Chinese government is doing your job, they're doing their job for you. They're canceling all the passports, and I hope that is the end of the Pogo operations here. But anyway, Mr. President, I just wanted to place that of record. Thank you very much.
The observations of the gentleman are shared by this representation insofar as the risk assessment by the AMLA. But I would like to see some backbone in the way you can put together a more cohesive, a more a strengthened and fortified implementation of the law, because we cannot just keel over and die here. I'd like to thank all of you here, particularly Customs, and all of you generals, and all the other people who came down here. Like I said earlier, we should try to work this out and find out how best we can solve this problem. Thank you all very much, and I shall see you again on March 12 at 11 o'clock a.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Session is suspended.